We've got plans for Seth Rollins at WrestleMania in Texas. Plus, what is the future of Road Dogg now that he's no longer with WWE as a producer? Is he gonna rejoin someone? And you better tell somebody. Or your ass better tell somebody. And damn the man. Seriously, damn the man. You can't be the man anymore? I thought you could just call yourself the man.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! Watch out.
Damn the man.
It's a Freestyle Friday edition of Sportskeeda Wrestling's Top Story. What's up, everybody? We'll go extra long. You'll get your questions on screen. If you're listening on demand, thank you so much putting this podcast in the top 100 wrestling podcasts for wrestling in America on Apple and in Great Britain. In the Queen's Crown, wherever wrestling fans listen to the audible programs.
While they're sipping their tea.
Yes, sipping the tea. It is Freestyle Friday, baby. Hey, the diehards are with us. They know what's up. We got people yelling, watch out, watch out, watch out. I appreciate that. Get your questions ready. If we don't see them, we will get them in a second. So don't be prepared to post them in 20 minutes or something like that, okay? So don't worry about that. A lot to cover today, though. Big news today about WrestleMania. We got stuff about Becky Lynch. We got a lot of this WWE Fallout news from them releasing a bunch of producers for NXT. So a lot to cover here. Let's jump right into it. Seth Rollins. We have an idea of his potential plans for WrestleMania in Dallas coming up here in Texas. Hit that like button. Hit it hard. Let's see if we can get a lot of reactions here. I'm challenging you guys to over 50 likes in this live video if you win this live here. 50 likes. Don't stop hitting it here, okay? All right, you guys want to say, give us the tea. This is what Yuri's saying. Yuri Genius is saying, give us the tea. Well, guess what? We're going to make a whole hot pot, a whole pot of sweet tea, all right? And we're going to spill it. We're just going to jump it right now, all right?
Hey, did someone say pot?
All right, Spicoli, let's reel it in here. What is the latest here on Seth Rollins at WrestleMania?
This goes back to day one. Dave Meltzer indicated that the original plan, while some reports had said Big E was going to retain, the original plan was actually for Seth Rollins to retain or to win the WWE Championship in that fatal four-way before they added Brock Lesnar. Obviously, plans changed when they added Brock Lesnar. Who knows where they're going with that? We may get some more information on tonight's SmackDown since, well, Brock said we'll see Roman Reigns on Friday, and it's been confirmed, as we confirmed on Top Story last night, that Roman Reigns will be at SmackDown tonight. So we'll see maybe where those plans are kind of lining up towards WrestleMania. But even though Seth Rollins did not win the WWE Championship at day one, Meltzer indicated that the position may remain the same. It's just getting there may be different. So that tells me, remember what Bill Apter said? Bill Apter said on, I think it was Smack Talk, that he would like to see Seth Rollins win the Royal Rumble and challenge Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So, maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe we don't get Brock and Roman. Who knows? A lot can happen.
Who do we have to win the Royal Rumble last year? We had Bianca Belair and
Big E. Or not Big E. Who the hell won it last year? Jesus.
Yeah, see, it's been so long ago.
I know.
But it's been a long time since a prominent villain won the Rumble. I think so. It's cyclically, it makes sense for a villain, a heel, to win the Rumble. So, I mean, this isn't out of line. I don't think this is a bad story. I didn't see people respond, bad to this idea.
Edge won last year.
So you had
Drew won the year before. Seth Rollins. I don't know if Seth Rollins was heel or face in 19.
And he's never won the Rumble.
No, Seth won in 19.
Oh no, you're right. He did win in 19.
I was there. Yeah, I was there in Phoenix.
You would remember it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to that baseball stadium.
Because that was when the man came back. The man filled in for the injured Lana, I do believe it was. And
we have a story about the man.
We got it. Yeah.
We have a big story about the man here coming up here in a minute about Becky Lynch. But this makes sense. I mean, this is a different Seth Rollins. I think Seth Rollins in a major position is cool. He's been away from the world title scene for quite some time.
I figured him and Owens would be the ones to take the titles off of RK Bro at Mania. But now it seems like they got maybe bigger plans for Rollins.
You have two nights. You know, I do think this is a WrestleMania where maybe you see someone wrestle twice.
And there's my answer right there from Tony. Thank you, Tony.
Seth was babyface 2019 B Slayer. No, you're right. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, Payon though is not feeling it. You know, yelling Seth sucks. Well, he's a villain. You're supposed to say he sucks.
I like Seth. I like this version of Seth.
And I think Ken is trying to say we want The Rock. We won't The Rock.
We won't.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. If St. Louis, which I could potentially be going to the Rumble, if I'm at the Dome in St. Louis and it gets to number 30, and then you hear if you smell, that place is gonna lose. Like if there is a roof on the Dome, it won't be there long. You know, like if you bring back Rock at the Royal Rumble, that's the guy who wins the Rumble. That's a guy who needs to win the Rumble, and then you can do the obvious Rock versus Roman program. If you want to set up a villain and do your Darth Vader Empire Strikes Back moment, evil wins before the dawn of the day, you can go in that direction. And Seth is a guy who can ride that heat with the way his character is right now, as this smarmy, dastardly heel. I think he could play it up here. CRC, who's riding hard with us all the time. I want to get this comment in here. That's a good point. Big time Kev. Big time Kev. Thank you so much. About a heel not winning the Rumble in a while. That would be a banger with Seth freaking Rollins and the Needle Mover.
Yeah.
The problem with this is they're both heels. They're both heels.
Well, in in Meltzer's report, he is mentioning that Lashley may take the title off of Lesnar, freeing Lesnar to feud with Roman still. So that means
dusty finish with those two.
Yeah. And so it could be another multi-man match at WrestleMania with Lashley, Owens, Kevin, Big E. You might get a rehash of day one's original plan at WrestleMania. Who knows? I don't know. But it's kind of weird because when you saw Kevin and Seth work together where they were not interrupting each other's pins, it makes you wonder if the plan was to have them be a tag team going forward. That's why I said they would probably be the ones to take it off of RK Bro, because they've literally ran out of people to feud with at this point. I know American Alpha's got some wins. They'll probably put that at Mania or at Rumble, but there ain't no way Alpha's taking it off of RK Bro. So
we're already talking about who needs to win the Rumble. Tony's saying, I'd love a babyface AJ Styles winning the Rumble. He has not won the Rumble.
No.
He did debut in the Rumble. His matches with Reigns in his debut year were high quality. I was at one with Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles at, I believe, Payback that year. That was magnifique. Quite the main event here. And a lot of people just saying the matches they want to see materialize here in WrestleMania season. You got people excited about WrestleMania. Despite all this negative WWE news, you got people excited about the Royal Rumble here. Fans are still talking about those things.
Hey, you almost got your goal. We're at 45 engagements.
I don't think that's enough. No. I'm gonna push it to 75.
There you go.
All right. I'm always chasing the dragon. I'm always chasing that dragon, the proverbial like dragon. So hit the like buttons. Let's see if we can get a really big interactive show. You guys will run the entire final segment of the show with Freestyle Friday. Freestyle. There we go. That's awful what I just did. Let's get into story number 2 here. We are learning more about the continued just awful releases. We thought this would be a 2021 thing, but now it's a 2022 thing, as there were many Triple H hires in the Performance Center in WWE NXT that were released in the last 3 days, including Samoa Joe yesterday, William Regal the day before. In that batch with William Regal, we saw the unfortunate release of Road Dogg Jesse James, who's been with the company as a producer now for a significant period of time. I want to say at least just under 10 years or so, like in that direction, like more than 5. Mm-hmm. At one point, he was involved in creative on SmackDown, and then shifted over to NXT. I know he had a pretty serious heart attack in the last year. We have people saying that NXT is dead. It is not. They still have a television contract, so you can cool off on that. It's not dead. But Road Dogg now kind of addressing his future, because obviously everyone says, you're going to get back with Billy Gunn and All Elite Wrestling. You're going to go to All Elite Wrestling, right? So, I mean, it's obvious. It's an obvious question people want to ask. And they didn't wait to start asking this on social media. And he said what?
Well, Road Dogg's been away from Twitter for quite some time. I think he stepped away back in October or something. And then he came back after the news had broke that he'd been released and said, well, I lost my verified status on Twitter, and I lost my employment status. I'm back on Twitter now. And he had also commented, I just want to thank all the individuals from NXT, especially the young talent. The relationship we built will last forever. For which Adam Cole, baby, said, thank you, Brian. You're the man. See you down the road. And then someone said, someone just randomly asked him, will we see you join Billy Gunn as a producer for AEW? And Road Dogg simply replied, well, the light bill ain't going to pay itself. So I think we know where Road Dogg is heading very soon. And I hope Regal follows him as well, because that would be a boost for those young guys, your Jungle Boys, your MJFs, your Sammy Guevara's. That would be, have those two guys added to your locker room with Christopher Daniels, a Big Show, Mark Henry. Man, there's some talent there to teach those young guys how to evolve even further from where they are today.
It's still a bummer. It's still just a massive bummer.
NXT it's a bummer for Triple H. Everything he's built is now legitimately just crumbled outside of him and Shawn Michaels.
It crumbled, but then you had the show having, well, it's got decent ratings for where it is on a Tuesday night, right?
Better, but not great, but
better
best since Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, best in a couple months. You know what I mean? So like, it's worth noting here. And if you told me they were going to start doing NXT shows outside of the Performance Center, I'd be like, oh, okay. Like, that wouldn't surprise you right now. If they announced some stuff for WrestleMania weekend,
Impact's finally getting on the road.
Yeah,
outside of pay-per-views, they're actually now getting on the road regularly on a weekly basis.
I've said this a whole lot. I think of the parts of WWE that have been hurt the most by the pandemic, I think NXT was the best. It was the best in terms of damage, where you could step away from now. We're not done with the pandemic. Proverbially, we're not. But we can tour and stuff like that. But they kept that show in a box. I think that suffered from that reason.
The Super Bowl might get moved to Dallas.
Yeah, so the Super Bowl might get moved to Dallas.
It's free reign in Texas,
Yeah, it's free reign in Texas. So that's a whole other story too. That won't have any effect on WWE.
No, not with WrestleMania being there. So that's probably maybe good luck that the WrestleMania this year is going to be in Texas, because they won't have any restrictions. So
yeah, and other people agreeing with you, they see some possible jumps here to NXT. Other people noting, this is one worth noting, Steven Chambers noting that Regal's son is Charlie Dempsey in NXT UK. Yes, he is still signed. He's still there. So it's still noting that Regal has a connection to WWE at this time. And I think he'll have a connection to WWE professionally, even if he's not with the company for a long, long time. So we'll see how this plays out here. And Larry Aurelia saying, Triple H is going to rehire Samoa Joe. Well, he already did that. And from the release earlier this year, last year, you know what I mean?
I think Joe's not coming back, because I think Joe wants to wrestle. And again, we didn't mention this on Top Story, but I'm going to talk about it
because it happened when we were doing the show. So
I'm going to talk about it right now.
Yeah.
Right now, it's hard to trust what WWE is saying publicly now about medical, because all of a sudden Joe was cleared when he feuded with Karrion Kross, and then all of a sudden he was not cleared again. I'm calling bullshit on that.
You're calling bullshit on what WWE said
about being medically cleared. I think Joe's been cleared for some time, and now it makes me wonder the legitimacy of what they were saying about Daniel Bryan.
I wouldn't say that.
I don't, man.
Because here's why. I'll say this too, because Daniel Bryan went on the record saying that he lied about his medical status and some things.
Well,
and he hid stuff from them. That's more the case with him. With Joe, there may be something there that we don't know. There's a whole lot more to this that we know.
How could he magically not be cleared anymore when he was? Yeah, so I think that's BS. Joe obviously said on Twitter himself he's ready to compete. Mm-hmm. So I think we're going to see Joe somewhere sometime soon. Man, I'd love to see him in Impact Wrestling facing Jonah.
Big Matt. Him and Jonah and Impact would be cool. Him in New Japan right now would be awesome.
Yeah.
If you told me he showed up at like New Japan somehow magically, he'd have to break his non-release, right?
Yeah.
He'd have to break his non-release cause to like show up in New Japan. I'd be more into that. There's too much. The other thing is everyone's saying put them in All Elite. Haven't jumped to All Elite Wrestling right now. I don't know about right now because there's so much going on right now. Some stuff has to cool off in terms of storylines for him to be inserted in there.
Jonah and Josh Alexander, that's going to be a hell of a match tomorrow night on Hard to Kill. Unfortunately, Hard to Kill is like constantly evolving and changing because of COVID. The inspiration is off the show now. Alicia Edwards is replacing Rachel Ellering in the first ever Knockouts Ultimate X match. So not heard yet if there's going to be a replacement tag team to face Dashwood and I'm drawing a blank.
It's okay.
Josh Matthews' wife. What's her name?
Yeah.
Madison Rain. There we go.
Madison Rain. Watch our interview with Josh Alexander. That is up right now ahead of Hard to Kill. That is on our YouTube channel if you want to get the latest on what's going on with Impact. Besides all those shakeups backstage at WWE and Joe leaving and Road Dogg leaving and where are they going, we do have news about something else that is going.
It's gone.
For years, Becky Lynch has been called the Man. And this became a legal issue, apparently, with Ric Flair, who doesn't want anyone else being called the Man. To be the Man, you have to trademark the Man. And that was the case here, as Becky Lynch kind of organically got called the Man, just in a promo one time. And it wasn't like a, hey, I am the Man type stuff, and she ran with it.
I think it developed when she beat Charlotte. So she said, well, because Charlotte always say that. And so that's what happened is she beat Charlotte. So now she's the Man. And then it just stuck.
So now, legally, apparently, WWE is no longer going to use that term. They've been emphasizing big time back for a while.
Yeah,
they haven't said it. So it is. I don't think it's alarming that this isn't the case, but it lines up with the really out there stuff that Ric Flair's been saying recently on social media and kind of taking these like vague, playful shots at Becky. Connect the dots for me here.
Well, Meltzer indicated that WWE may have lost the rights. As you've seen that she's been now going by Big Time Bex. According to Ric Flair on his Woo Nation Uncensored podcast, he claims WWE can no longer use the catchphrase because he owns the rights to the name. That's all we know it now. There's no other updates to that, but it you put two and two together and it kind of makes sense that they may have lost it.
All right, so two things to do right now. Get your questions ready for the final segment of the show.
It's about time.
And hit that like button. Just hit it. I want to hammer the like button. I want us to have the most likes and the most reactions that we've had of any show this week. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and subscribe to the Sportskeeda YouTube channel. We mentioned we have that Josh Alexander interview up there. We have a whole bunch of content up there. We have a fresh interview up there with Matt Hardy as well, ahead of the launch of his new podcast. And we're going to have a show later on tonight after SmackDown and Rampage with the legendary Dutch Mantel, and we have clips from our new show, The Bro Show. The Bro Show. This debuts every Thursday night on Instagram, and but we have clips and versions of it that you can check out now as well on our YouTube. So definitely give that a look right there. All right, let's jump right into it. Freestyle Friday. Here's how it works. You ask the questions. No fantasy booking. All right, we have to say this all the time. You don't say, hey, I want to fantasy book this thing. That's going to be a different show. But like, don't tell me like, hey, I think this person who hasn't been in the ring in 20 years. Now we can talk about rumors and stuff like that. Like, hey, I've heard this rumor is just going to happen. That's fine. But don't say, I want to see Heath Slater win the Royal Rumble. Is that going to happen? No, that isn't in play here. All right. But outside of everything else, it's freestyle. Shoot your questions about what's going on.
I got kids.
I got kids. I need to win this Rumble. I can't just be in this Rumble and not win it. I need that money. John D saying, I love you guys. Love you back, buddy. Love you back, bro. All right, let's get into some stuff. Steven Chambers getting us going here. Stevie, you're so cool. Love you and your dog and your avatar there. All right, what is the name of your dog, Steve? We want to know. Any word on who's not wrestling at Battle of the Belts tomorrow night? There's so much wrestling this week.
I'll tell you what.
So much wrestling. We have a TV special from All Elite Wrestling on TNT. It'll be just an hour. That'll be in the Bojangles Arena in North Carolina. And we have this Impact pay-per-view. And we have New Japan night 3 of Wrestle Kingdom, like 4 a.m., whatever it is here in the United States. So much wrestling. And any word on who's not going to be on the show? Because there is a potential COVID situation.
I got breaking news for you.
What you got?
I don't know if it's breaking or not, but long ago when AEW started, both Cody Rhodes and the Bucks started this text service. I can't remember who it is. It's through community.com. Earlier this morning, Cody sent out a text saying, friendly reminder, please get vaccinated. Children, babies can catch this thing, and they don't deserve that BS. So I think Cody's got COVID.
Well, it isn't confirmed, but
no, but yeah, I think Sammy is around, and he's been doing photo shoots with Ty and other things for Shop AEW. I don't think Sammy's got it. I think I have a feeling Cody came down with COVID because that match is the one that's affected.
It's also worth noting, everyone goes off on WWE about how their guys got COVID and all these different things. They're on the road. So is All Elite Wrestling. There's plenty of people in All Elite Wrestling that got COVID before the vaccine was even available. Note the Bucks, Jericho, many, many people, all right, got COVID. I know people that went to All Elite shows that got COVID.
They'll announce the change on their Rampage tonight, just to let you know.
Okay, so we'll get an update on what's going to happen with that show tonight. But I just think they're kind of closer to the vest with some things like this. They're going to have to start coming out and saying who got it. WWE's in a position where they had to do it at day one. Now with Omicron being so transmissible and politics aside, it's like this. So it's a challenging situation to run live events right now. This is not a political statement. It's just me talking. Wear your mask. Get an N95 mask, by the way. You can order those on Amazon. They are very, very easy to get. They feel much safer. I've been around people who had COVID while wearing this mask, and I felt comfortable about it. That's no personal endorsement. I don't get any money from them. I did have my booster. It did make me sick, but hey, I'm not in a hospital. That's why you get a vaccine. It's not going to keep you from being infected. It's going to keep you from clogging up our medical system and shutting down our society. So let's get through this, guys. We can get through this. You can play your part, and if you don't want to play your part, you can just be selfish, right? I think that's reasonable. Let's jump into these questions. John says, why is Braun Breaker a champion? Well, Braun Breaker is a champion because you saw it. Of all the things in NXT 2.0, he is the most undeniably great thing. If he debuted in the black and gold version of NXT, he would still be where he is right now. He shouts wrestler. He is an action figure come to life. He has a ton of natural charisma. I'm not saying he's the best wrestler in the world, but he's like a new version of Goldberg. He's a very dynamic athlete. He is taken to wrestling very, very quickly. He's a second generation wrestler, so he's been raised around this. He understands the dynamic of it. And you also have a guy who's fairly young and has a pro sport background. So he's already built up and conditioned to do some very violent things. This guy's coming fresh off the NFL right into WWE. That's special, all right? Even though many other people have done that before, that's special. There's something about this guy that jumps off the screen, and he's young, and it's a fresher take on it, and he's not an indie wrestler, and I don't mean that in a disparaging way. He didn't come from that pedigree. That's okay. There's plenty of people that are very successful in wrestling that didn't start in independent wrestling or earn their straps, right? And here's the thing. I get it. He's very, very new. Less than 100 matches, and he's the NXT champion. But
I've said it on the show before. Just like what Carmelo Hayes says when he shoots, he doesn't miss. Braun Breaker hasn't missed on any aspect of NXT 2.0 since his debut. Promos, in-ring work, all of the above.
Not having bad matches. He's not going out. You're not seeing this guy go out there and stumble over his words or anything like that. Yeah. The stuff they have him doing, he's doing very well. It's ECW style. Every strength about him is highlighted. Whatever his weaknesses are, we don't know what they are.
When they wrestled at Halloween Havoc, I thought I was not going to be surprised if he beat him there. I was not. And, and I thought it was going to be a given of him beating him at New Year's Eve, outside of the fact that he might have just gotten that rocket to the main roster if he would have lost to Ciampa there. But obviously, with a few less, not many matches in there, they probably want to keep him in NXT for a little while longer.
Keep those questions coming. NXT new champion is Braun Breaker Rechsteiner. We're going with it here. Want to get this question from Stacy. With all the releases, do you think WWE is going to have enough to fill the Rumble? We've been asked this before, Big Stacy Selvage. Yeah, this is still WWE. There's still a ton of wrestlers that you can see in there. There's still a ton of tag team wrestlers. I think people forget that tag team wrestlers can be in the Rumble when they start just thinking singles guys, right? And then you also have the returns. You have the feel good returns, which WWE loves to do, and hardcore fans love to see.
Just Google list of WWE personnel, and you'll see a whole Wikipedia page of superstars, and they've got plenty.
Keep the questions coming, everybody. Let's jump right into it. Edie with the question here. Edie Zahari, do you think the new NXT will falling apart, or will it be successful to create a star with the WWE Next in Line program being introduced? Well, there's a lot of questions there. Do I think it'll fail? I don't know, but it certainly has had some success despite all these backstage things. Let's be frank. Are you rooting against it? That's more of a question of my sense. Are you just rooting against it because you're angry about all this other news that doesn't have anything to do with the product on screen, right? I don't think that being angry about people getting let go is fair to the people that are still there.
I will tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
Early on, it was kind of a shit show because they tried so many things and introduced so many people at first.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. First off, I'm going to say 2.0. Obviously, to me, Black and Gold 2.0 is never going to touch Black and Gold in terms of quality. But let me tell you this: it's been entertaining, and there are people that I've come around on that originally I did not like. Well, Joe Gacy I liked right away. I think he's a tremendous star. I did not like Andre Chase at first. I'm starting to come around on him. I hated Grayson Waller at first. I thought he was a crappy baby face. It was not going to work. He turned heel, and he's almost the best heel in the company right now.
Mm-hmm.
So there are guys now that we've given some time now that have kind of turned the page on. My opinion. I've turned the page on some opinions on some guys. Some guys I liked right away, like Braun and Joe Gacy, and other guys I didn't like right away, like Andre Chase and Grayson Waller. But yet I'm starting to like all of them now, and I think in time it will. I think they're on the right path. Now, in terms of NIL, that's going to be a long ways out because these guys are not going to be in WWE while in college. They're going to be able to train and stuff, but they've
been optioned to have. They've been optioned to wrestle for WWE after college.
A lot of them are. I bet probably 95% of them are not going to be wrestling on TV because they still have, like, example, Gabe, with Gabe Stevenson, he still has another season of amateur wrestling to do in college yet. So you're not going to see these guys. That's still going to, whether or not Nil's going to be successful, that's going to be a 5 years from now question, basically, that we can answer.
We have plenty of people with questions. We're going to try and get to them. And if you haven't gotten your question up, don't be afraid to repost it if we don't see it just yet. All right, we're gonna be asked this many times. Thomas, who will be returning? Returns at the Royal Rumble are always a big thing here, coming up 29th, and St. Louis, Missouri at the Dome of the American Center. Who do you see returning at the Royal Rumble match? This is a big question. I think the feel-good returns are awesome. I'm a fan and a friend of Lisa Marie Varon, Victoria. I welled up with tears when I saw her come out. I don't care about Mark, and I thought that was great. I think there's plenty of names that could return this year that would be interesting, that are available, that are there, that haven't been in the company in a few years, and there's some that come back here and there that are always interesting. It would be crazy if some of these people that got released recently showed up. If some of the names that got released in the last year come back for even just a single shot, it would be very interesting. And some of those names have not been scooped up by All Elite Wrestling, that are on the table, that are out there, and some names that you'd be surprised by. If a Nia Jax showed up at the Royal Rumble, I'd be surprised. I think one of those names could surprise me. Who do you think? Give me a name right now. We're talking here on January 7th with the Rumble a few weeks away.
I can't really think of a male off the top of my head of a return. I could think of many debuts. Especially you got Ring of Honor guys that were now free agents. You've got NXT guys. I think Braun Breaker is probably going to be in the Rumble. A returning man, Devon Dudley, let's say, because he's already there. Maybe Bubba, the 3D thing. The Usos started doing the 3D. Maybe. Women's side, Asuka, I have a feeling. Maybe Kairi Sane. Fightful came out and said she's still under contract until February. She may have that itch to come back. Maybe a Kairi Sane, maybe Bailey's ahead of schedule. Those three women kind of top the thing for me, I think, because Alexa Bliss is going to be returning next week or in a couple weeks. So I think that's going to, I think you could probably pencil Bliss in for the Rumble at the very least. So that's kind of a not really qualified as a return because we already know it's coming. But I'd say Asuka, Kairi Sane, or Bailey.
The fact that they're bringing Alexa Bliss back on TV makes me think there's more room and there's more, I would say, real estate in the minds of fans to process another big, oh, wow, return, because you can't do two of those on top of each other. They kind of lose their magic, if you will, their impact, for lack of a better phrase. Yuri with a great question here. How are WrestleMania event cities determined? This has changed over years. Money is a major, major factor. It's worth noting that on average for the last 8 or 9 years, I want to see even going back closer, probably 10 or 12 years, WrestleMania is a huge tax revenue generator, specifically in the United States. A major reason why they don't do it in Canada very much, because the tax revenues there are different. And with the last one that was in, I want to say, New York, 2013, I remember doing this article for Examiner.com that I was writing at the time and getting a press release and then having to call tourism offices in New York City and New Jersey to kind of verify the numbers on it. And they were all saying, no, that's about right. And it was around $125 million in tax revenue over just 4 or 5 days. For example, I live in Chicago. The Lollapalooza Music Festival is here. It's in downtown Chicago. It brings in around $175 million in taxable revenue. That's also just all revenue tied to WWE stuff. Now think about if you do what, all those days, 2 days now of WrestleMania, 2 stadium days with all the concessions, with all those taxes, with all the parking, with all the Uber rides, right? Whatever host city gets a piece of that, they're getting a little piece of every little different, exchange that goes on in that case. What about all the people that are doing stuff with indie wrestling there? What about the WrestleCons and all these different things? It's a huge moneymaker. So you're only really going to do this in cities that have a good airport, a good travel structure, and the proper stadium venue. I don't think you're going to see a WrestleMania in an arena again. I think you're only going to see it in these massive stadiums. The last one that was an arena was in 2006, another Chicago story here, at Allstate Arena. I live in Chicago. We have a football stadium, but it's a dome stadium. In April, late March, Chicago still feels like it's in the waning days of winter. It doesn't have a warm season. Texas is warm. It's going to be warm in April. That's why they're going to do it there. It's a state-of-the-art stadium that they can dome if they want to with the Cowboys. So it's state-of-the-art venues. WWE usually drawn to new football venues. It has been their rhythm for the last 10, 15 years. That's why they've booked SoFi for 2023, the new stadium for the Rams and the Chargers. There's a lot of different factors, but tax revenue, venue, the cities now pitch for this the same way they would for something like the Olympics, but on a much smaller scale. Olympics, you're talking billions of dollars, right? This, though, is a week-long event, and it does make money for the cities that can host it. I do think there are some cities that have not hosted WrestleMania in a long time across North America that deserve it. I do think it needs to be north of the border in Canada. It's never been to Mexico, which would be interesting. I know there's some fans that want it in the UK, which is very, very challenging to do in terms of broadcast times. I know this always creates a whole different conversation, but and I've also talked to people on tourism boards in cities where they've said we would want something like that, but usually when we pitch, we're told, oh, well, let's try and get you an arena event, which still is very profitable for your host cities to get as well.
All right.
Let's jump into one here. I covered that pretty well, didn't I?
I got to get out of here pretty soon. So,
all right. Oh yeah, we're running up on your time here. We'll get 3 more in. We'll do these quick.
Yep.
I'll let you just answer this, Mr. James Espanto Fernando Tagay. Here's one for you, Jeremy. Has your enthusiasm for WWE been dampened by the releases?
Not really. Still watch it. Some people it has, though. I mean, I don't know if they'll follow through with it, but some people are getting to the breaking point on all these releases that they're done. There are people that are. I obviously won't. Part of it is, well, it's part of my job. Other it is, I'll still watch. But it is for some people, not me necessarily. I'll still watch, regardless, even if I wasn't doing this or not, I would still be watching. it's disheartening, but
Yeah.
I'll still watch. But it is. Some people are in there. So
Want to get a super chat in. Roland Curtis. Thank you so much, Roland. I want to get you on screen while we can. Roland sending us a super chat. Thank you so much. So courteous of you. Any word on this year's WWE Hall of Fame? We should have heard about 2 inductees by now. I'm hoping Owen Hart, Undertaker, Triple H. Well, here's the thing. Everyone thinks there's this rhythm to announcing this. There isn't, because I think COVID is a scenario too.
I'm gonna have to wait. Yeah, wait and see.
When you're running the Cowboy Stadium, if we're running the Cowboy Stadium, why aren't you doing a Hall of Fame? I don't know what the situation is going to be like with COVID. They may wait as long as they can to announce venues and stuff like that, which some people are going to say is disorganized and all those different things. But with COVID, I do get it. It does make sense because you're bringing in a lot of people. You're bringing in older people. You're going to be bringing in an older crowd of backstage people for that. And in that case, I do think they do need to do a Hall of Fame in front of fans. It's 2 years in a row where we haven't had one in front of fans. The one last year was all right, but it missed fans.
Yeah, being in Texas, it'll probably have fans. So
yeah, Undertaker, gotta put Undertaker in. What
has to be,
and that becomes a hot ticket. If you do want to move that thing quick, and you can't announce this Hall of Fame event until February, right? Or something like that, depending on what the situation's like. If they announce at the Royal Rumble, we're doing a Hall of Fame and we're putting the Undertaker in, or that week, great. Sign me up. I'm already going to Texas to cover this thing, but I'm getting that ticket and I want to be in that room, So I think Undertaker, I'm not saying he's a lock, but he would be the biggest name I think they could induct right here that's still like hot off ending his career, So I think that would be the most interesting one here. Let's get another question in here while we're going. We got another one about the Hall of Fame here. I just want to get one in before we're done. Here we go. Monet saying, not fantasy booking. Thank you, Monet. Many people believe Becky versus Bianca will take place at WrestleMania. With this supposed Saudi Arabia show in February, and those being big for WWE, could it take place in Saudi Arabia? Where do you do Becky versus Bianca? That's a great question from Monet. Where do you do this? Because this is a big rematch people want to see.
Could be Royal Rumble. I mean, they've already started sowing the seeds. So it could be Royal Rumble, could be Saudi. Obviously, the winner of the Rumble is probably going to take on Becky at WrestleMania, or they could take on Charlotte. I don't know. It's going to be hard to tell, but I don't know if they saved that. I don't think they saved that for WrestleMania just because it's already happened. They may do it in Saudi, but we still have 3 weeks of Raw left, so it could be Rumble still.
All right. We stand just a few clickies away from over 100 reactions, likes, hearts, faces, all those different things. Give us a bunch of them here at the end. You can follow Jeremy Bennett on the Twitter machine at JB Huskers. Plug it up, buddy.
Now we're on a little hiatus with Lost in the Midcard. We're still kind of determining what we want to do on our comeback. So we're still planning, but you can see what we're all about by looking for Lost in the Midcard on YouTube. We'd appreciate you subscribing to us on YouTube. And you can also subscribe on any podcasting app. Search for Lost in the Midcard, hit that new feed. But we'd really love for you to search for Lost in the Midcard on the YouTube.
I love all the support. If you have questions and different stuff like that we didn't get to, don't worry. I'll get into them like this one about Asuka. I'll jump into the comments after the show, and I'll jump into that conversation with you guys as well. Follow me on the Twitter machine at Kev Callum. I am so busy in this one chair. You can hear me on the radio in Springfield on 97.7 QLZ. You can hear me in Rockford on 104.9 The X. You can hear me anywhere on those radio stations by just listening in on the TuneIn app or any of your different radio apps. If you haven't done it, maybe you're listening on iHeartRadio. Well, just click over to the podcast section and subscribe to Sportskeeda Wrestling. That's right. The audio of our streams every single week are also available as a podcast. Thank you for putting us in the top 100 podcasts on Apple for wrestling. We really appreciate it in the United States and other countries as well. Thank you guys so much.
Try to get to 100.
Come on, one more like. Come on, one more like, baby. One more like, and we get to 100. One more. Come on, I'm not signing off until we get to 100, baby. Until we click I need that dopamine of just seeing buttons fly on my screen. All right, that's what I need.
One more heart, one more thumb.
Put us over. Come on, I'm gonna shake those ropes. I'm gonna shake these ropes over here.
Hey, we got 2 of them.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you guys, appreciate it. We will be live after SmackDown and Rampage as well later on tonight with a great edition of Smack Talk covering Rampage and SmackDown with the great Dutch Mantel. Monday nights after Raw with Vince Russo. Bro, so much content. The Royal Rumble is going to be really fun. We're going to have 2 special weekend shows leading up to the Royal Rumble. Are we doing Royal Rumble trivia? Oh, yeah, we're doing that. And we're also going to do a tier. We're going to do a tier show. We're going to rank what are some of the best Rumbles, the okay Rumbles, and the worst Rumbles. We're going to be doing that as well. So a lot of fun coming from us for the diehards coming up in the future. Thank you so much, Jeremy. We're getting out of here because we got to get you out of here on time. But remember, when watching wrestling, do the most important thing, which is what, Jeremy?
Enjoy wrestling. Yeah.
Talk to them.
Let me talk to you.
This.
Watch out, watch out.